Hey, what's going on? We are backstage with Trish Stratus just after her panel at Ottawa Comiccon. You really have a passion for this still. You don't come here just for a paycheck. You really enjoy doing this.
Could you tell?
Yes.
Good.
I could tell.
Yes. I love it.
I mean, I think you really appreciate where you've been.
Yeah.
And you wear like a badge of honor. You're not one of these people that's like, oh, I was on that show or I did this. You really appreciate what you did and appreciate where it's taken you.
Well, here's the thing. There's a couple levels to that. WWE has been so good to me, and the fans have been so good to me. Sometimes it's like obviously I've come back onto the radar with the Royal Rumble recently and these cons recently. But there was a phase there where I'm like, how do I have so many followers when I'm just a retired mom? Right. But no, it's really awesome. And then I love these cons coming out and connecting with my fans and honestly, like the panel, for example, I just get casual. I'm like, it's like me chatting wrestling with a bunch of wrestling fans. Right. And I'm just that's what got me into it. When I first started, I was okay, so I was 24 years old. So when I was about 22, 23 years old, I was a fitness model. And I had some notoriety, had a couple covers, and that was kind of a career that I was having at the time. And this wrestling show, where there was a rumor going on that WWE had spotted me. And it was a rumor. It's not true. Yeah. This show had asked me to come on. It was called The Law, Live Audio Wrestling. And they were like kind of like the main wrestling show that was out there. And they said, would you come on and talk about the rumor? And I was like, oh, it's not true though. And they're like, let's come on anyway. I'm like, okay, cool. So I went on the show and it was just cool to shoot the shit with can I say that?
Yeah, you could say.
shoot the shit with some wrestling fans. We were just talking wrestling, and then they said, do you want to come on every week? And so I ended up being a co-host on that show. Right. But that's how it started because I loved it, and I was just at the core of it all. I'm just a wrestling fan too. So you generally
had a passion for wrestling.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think that really came across when you were fielding the questions. I mean, it seemed like you were into how the fans felt about it, and you were still into wrestling.
Yeah.
I could tell you.
We were just kind of having a conversation almost, right?
It's crazy because obviously everyone talks about Ronda Rousey coming over to the WWE, and I'm really, really. I'm proud of her, and I think it was a great move on her part because I think with UFC she hit a wall. Yeah. And coming over to the WWE, you can tell she genuinely looks happy. Yes. And she wasn't looking happy in the UFC for the last little while. Yeah. She was so important to that sport, to the UFC, and I thought it was a nice comparison when I think of you because you were so important to wrestling. How do you look back on that as a woman and as someone that really, really carried the torch from there wasn't a lot going on in wrestling with women before you were there. How do you look at that? Do you look back on that as with a lot of pride?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, sometimes it's surreal because when you're in the moment and you're doing what you're doing,
you're just doing it.
You're just doing your job, right? You're just doing your job, and you're trying to do your best as we all try to do. And then you see what you've created behind you, and you see, especially now going back, I see what I've created, and I speak to the women who are doing amazing things now that I had a little piece of that, part of that.
And they look at you as an inspiration.
Yeah, and I'm getting goosebumps because I think about it, and I get these weird goosebumps on my cheeks when I do that. But it's amazing, and of course because of being such a fan, I still look back and be like, wow, we were as kids, we were sitting here, I was playing wrestling with my cousins, and me and my cousins look back at each other like, what did I end up at there, but anything you do, you set up to I always set out you want to do your best, and you want to get your approval from your peers and your colleagues, and it's really cool to see what the women are doing now, and to know that in some way I had a part of that. It's amazing.
So I work in media, and one day I came home and I had gotten some promo copies of your videos. I come home one day and my wife.
Be clear, what kind of videos?
Your fitness videos.
My fitness videos, yeah.
Stratus.
My yoga, yeah.
I come home one day and my wife's in front of the TV and you're there and she's doing all this weird stuff and I was like, wow, and she really, really enjoyed it. I know fitness is a really, really important part of obviously your daily routine. It's one of the things that brought you to wrestling. Yeah. But you've continued with that into your own brand of fitness, your yoga studio. How important is that to you?
Oh, it's kind of neat because I came full circle. If you think about even my background, I was going to be a doctor. That's what I was pre-med when York University went on strike and changed my plans forever. But it's funny, I was trying to be a doctor, and Robert Kennedy, who I ended up becoming a fitness model, he was the publisher of the magazine that first contracted me. And he says, it's kind of funny. Think about now, you want to be a doctor because you wanted to help people. Yeah. Well, look at how many more people you can help and touch and have reached to in the position you're in now. And I was like, oh, that's a kind of an interesting way to look at it. And so, the reach of what we do is crazy. Yeah. And, to go in the fitness industry and to live it and breathe it. And, because I was studying biology, kinesiology, when I started training, I was like, oh, I'm sort of practicing the theories that I had learned in school, which is kind of neat. And then that was sort of the common vein in all of what I did, was being health and fitness and living the life, and then going, retiring, and then having this whole new resurgence and return to the fitness world. It was kind of cool. And then, but it's never been a move like, I should be in the fitness world. It's been very organic for me. Like yoga, I found just, it healed an injury I had in wrestling, changed my career in wrestling, finished up really strong with wrestling, changed my life really. And then it ended up, if there was opportunities. So it was a way of me, again, just spreading the word about, I was like, instead of telling like 3 or 4 people, hey, you got to try this yoga thing, I was like, how about if I had this brand and look at more people I can reach, sort of thing. So it's been great, and it's been good to me. And health and fitness it's in my family's life. We're a fit family, and we do what we can do to keep that going in our family as well.
Totally flip the coin on this one. What's your favorite cheat meal? Epic cheat meal.
Okay, so fish and chips we love. Ron and I love. My husband and I love. And butter tarts. I love butter tarts.
Butter tarts?
Butter tarts. Like a really good butter tart, yeah.
So perfect night for you would be fish and chips
and a butter tart.
And Netflix.
A couple.
And
butter
Netflix.
Tarts. And Netflix, yeah. Or like in the new season Glow, if that little evening.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Great. Let's set it up.
Come check her out this weekend, Trish Stratus at Ottawa Comiccon.